All right, we are now going to get into multiplying matrices. Different than what we were just doing before, the dimensions of the two matrices that we're multiplying don't have to actually be the same. So, first I'm going to look at the dimensions. Our first one is a 2 by 2. Our second one is a 2 by 3. And now I'm going to check a few things. If the inside numbers are the same, I can multiply these. I get a happy face. Can't really see my happy face on your screen, so I'm going to make it a little more bold. That is a good thing. That tells me that the number of columns of my first matrix is the same as the number of rows in my second matrix. Their product, when I multiply them, will be the dimensions of our outside numbers, a 2 by 3. So, let's actually write this a little bit differently to help us multiply these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my matrix down. The first one I'm multiplying by, just to help me visualize this a little bit better. Okay, so I moved it down. Now the product, like I said, was going to be those outside numbers. It's going to be a 2 by 3. And I'm just going to fill it in. All right, so the first row times the first column. When you're multiplying matrices, you always multiply rows by columns. So what's going to fill in this first spot is 2 times 3 plus 4 times 6. So the very first spot should be 2 times 3 plus 4 times 6. 2 times 3 is 6, and 4 times 6 is 24. That gives me my first spot should be 30. The reason I lined these up the way I did and rearranged them is because it shows me that row 1 should only help me with my very first row. Row 2 should help me with only my second row. All right, so let's continue. Let's do row 1 times column 2 to fill in our second spot. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus 4 times 0. Well, that's just 0. So all I got in the second spot is a negative 4. Now, let's do the very first row times the very last column. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 4 times negative 5, which is negative 20. So we really have 14 minus 20, or negative 6. All right, let's continue. Now, I'm looking at my second row. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus, negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. Now I'm going to the second spot. You see how I'm going spot by spot, and I'm lining up the rows and columns that I'm multiplying. Row 2 by column 2. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Plus negative 1 times 0, just 0, gives me just a spot of negative 6. The very last spot I have to fill in. 3 times 7, that's 21. Plus, negative 1 times negative 5, that's just 5. That tells me my last spot is 26. Always remember, you are multiplying rows by columns.